Although it may not look like it at first glance, sand is actually a thriving ecosystem, absolutely teeming with microorganisms. These little organisms living between grains of sand are called meiofauna. Today we will show you how to extract meiofauna from sand using the magnesium chloride extraction method, one of the most popular methods for finding these organisms. And then you'll get to see a couple of amazing animals that you can find using this method.
Okay, so today we are back again doing some more invertebrate collecting methods, and we are doing specifically for meiofauna collection or small marine invertebrate collection, the method of magnesium chloride relaxation and extraction. So all you need to do this is you need a bucket with some sand to get the little critters out, a sieve, an erlenmeyer flask, or honestly any dish would work. Some Petri dishes, or again, small dishes, and some magnesium chloride.
If you live in a place that commonly gets snow, you may be able to find magnesium chloride at the hardware store, but if not, you can easily find it online. This is the brand we use, as some products advertised for de-icing may contain some other stuff too. Later, we'll also need a microscope to find these animals because again, they're very small. The first thing we'll need to do is go collect some sand. This is a great excuse to go hang on the beach for a little while. We walk down the beach, soak up the sun, and go for a swim before collecting a bucket of sand. While meiofaunal organisms can be found in most marine sediments, the sand that you can collect at the beach can be anywhere from where the waves break to as far out as you want to go. When collecting your sand, it's important to gather just the top couple of inches of sediment, because this is where most of the organisms are. Then you have to carry your sand home and you can start the extraction.
So magnesium chloride relaxes the animals. So what it does is it disrupts the metabolism of the little animal's muscle system. So if you're a little meiofaunal animal, a lot of these things have sticky structures. They want to stick on to the sand because you don't really want to leave your house. And so what we do then to unstick them from those sand grains is use magnesium chloride. You can get this just at Home Depot or Lowe's or any hardware store. The magnesium chloride we use is the same that you use to de-ice the road or to de-ice your sidewalks during the winter. So it's actually something that you might already have at home or you can easily go off and get. For your sieves, you can either have a sieve, so something like if you are already in a lab, or you can make your own sieve, and this is really easy. You can just go onto Amazon. We'll put a link in the video notes below. Get some mesh. So this is 65 micron mesh. Buy a sheet of it on Amazon and a piece of PVC pipe that, again, you can get at any hardware store. You might just have a piece laying around, and you just literally super glue it to the bottom of the PVC pipe, and you have your very own sieve. So you can make your own at home. Sieves come in different sizes, so it just depends on what kind of animals that you are trying to catch. Because when we do this extraction method, we are going to flow the water through the sieve, and what we want is the stuff that is going to be retained in the sieve, so the things that are not going to flow through. All right, so we're gonna start off with our meiofaunal extraction. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our flask or any container and our sand and a good old-fashioned spoon. And you are just gonna take, when you collect meiofauna, you have your sand in your bucket, and the animals tend to, if you leave it to sit for a while, they will come up throughout the day as the sediment gets more anoxic, meaning lack of oxygen. The animals wanna come up to where the water is and tend to hang out in the first 1 to 2 centimeters of sediment. So you just basically, so if my hand is the sediment, you will just scrape along the top and grab the first bit of the sand and put it straight into the flask. And so we have a good bit of sediment in there. So then once we have our sediment in our dish, we are going to take our magnesium chloride. So the mag chloride that will relax these animals is 7% magnesium chloride in water. So that's 70 grams per liter. So 70 grams of that magnesium chloride per liter of water.
We pour the 7% magnesium chloride into our flask and use regular seawater at about a 1-to-1 ratio. We usually just eyeball this.
And then now what we're gonna do is we want to make sure that the magnesium chloride gets through all the sediment. So we wanna stir it up. And you kind of wanna do this gently. These animals can be, they're extremely tiny and they can be quite fragile. So one method that we use is this kind of figure 8. And that just mixes up the sediment with that magnesium chloride and it will relax those animals. So then you just let it sit for about 15 minutes. We let it settle and then we'll come back and we will run it through the sieve and get our sediment into Petri dishes so we can look at the animals that we find. Okay, so now that it's been our 15 minutes, we can extract the animals from the sand. So we have our settled sand that has been sitting for 15 minutes, and we can just give it a swirl. And we're gonna run this through the sieve of your choice. So today we're gonna use this sieve, which is 150 microns.
We generally use a 63 micron sieve to retain as many small animals as possible. You can adjust the size of the mesh if you're trying to catch animals of a particular size or based on the sediment you're working with. For example, if your sediment is particularly silty, a 63 micron mesh can clog easily, so using a coarser mesh may be helpful.
So you give it a little swirl and you just decant the water through the sieve. And then as you go, you can give it another little stir and decant the water through. So you can actually keep this magnesium chloride that you run through, we can call it like a dirty mag chloride bucket, and reuse it. So you can reuse it for multiple extractions. Then we have our Petri dishes where we're gonna keep our samples and a squeezy water bottle. And you squeeze the water on the inside of the sieve and get out what we sieved through. It can be a little bit messy. So now we have our animals in our Petri dishes. We can head up to the scope and see what we found.
This is what your extracted sediment should look like under the microscope. Hopefully, you should see a bunch of little organisms running around. Common animals you can encounter include nematodes, flatworms, aceals, gastrotrichs, nemertines, annelids, and a bunch of other critters waiting to be discovered. Different animals like to hang out at different regions of the intertidal, so depending on if it's high or low tide, the type of critters you may find may be different. Meiofauna in general tend to have really patchy distributions, so even returning to the same spot, you may find different communities of animals, so it's definitely worthwhile to try this more than once. I hope you try a mag chloride extraction yourself and encounter some really neat animals along the way. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a like and subscribe to learn more about animal collecting methods.